Last page, we are going to look at making a 90-degree angle. Now, if you were going to try to make a 90 with this, what my advice would be is I wouldn't use just this ray. I would put a dot where that point D is, and I would actually turn this into a line. So I would extend this, and then all of a sudden it becomes the same construction that we just did in number 5 with a point on the line. Okay, so if I want to make a 90, then I can make a perpendicular. So the way that we remember this is the dumb little saying smiley dimple X. We're going to do the smiley dimple X now that we've created the ray into a line. So let's just practice this one more time. You're going to put your compass point on D, and you're going to make a smiley face. It needs to intersect the line in 2 places, one on the left and one on the right. I'm going to highlight the dimples. Just picture a kid smiling. Those are his dimples. And now the key to doing this construction is you got to open your compass wider than what you already had, or your X won't crisscross. It'll actually crisscross right on the D, which you don't want. So open your compass wider, and you're going to make an X. So to do this, you swing an arc. I usually do it below. You could do it above. There's 1/2 of the X, and then I go to the other dimple, and I swing back. I do the other half of the X. So now what I'm going to do is connect the D to the X, and I have a 90-degree angle formed because I made perpendicular lines. So if they ask you to make a 90, you are going to be doing smiley dimple X, because smiley dimple X will always give you perpendicular lines if you start with a line. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we're going to do a 135-degree angle. So I'm actually going to use number 7 to do the 135, and you're welcome to go up to number 7 if you already have your 90. And I think you need to be creative on this to try to ask yourself, how could I get a 135 if I just have 90s? So the answer is, what happens if I bisect a 90? Do you guys know what you would get when you bisect a 90? So think 90 divided by 2 is 45, right? And what is 90 plus 45? That adds up to 135. So now we have an idea of how to get a 135 without using a compass. We can get a 90, which we already have, and then we can bisect a 90 to get 45, because 45 is half of 90. Okay, so watch how this works. All I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pick one of these 4 angles to bisect. Doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to choose this. I'm going to label it angle 2. I'm going to bisect angle 2 like we did on the other page. So to bisect angle 2, I'm going to put the point of my compass on D, and I'm going to make an arc that intersects both sides of angle 2. Now, you might already have an arc that you can use there, and if you already have an arc that's there, then feel free to use that arc. I just made a different one. And then when I make my arc, I'm going to get 2 intersections, one here and one here, and I'm going to use those 2 intersections to make my X. So I'm going to swing an X in the middle so that I can connect to get my bisector. So from the 2 intersections, I swing half the X and the other half. Now I'm going to connect my vertex to my X, and I have cut my 90 in half. So if you look, this little dude will be 45, and this little dude will be 45, and this big dude is 90. So when I go to mark the picture for Mrs. Ween, I can highlight, if I have a highlighter, and show you that that is the 135. Or if you don't have a highlighter, you can just do like an arc around all of it and mark that as the 135-degree angle. You're just going to show me that you've done a 45 plus a 90, which is going to give you 135. And so down here, all it's going to do is it's going to ask you, how can you use number 8 above to get a 45-degree angle? And the answer is you already have a 45, because 45 degrees is 1/2 of 90 degrees. So basically you are bisecting a 90-degree angle. So you don't have to do any more work to get your 45. you already have your 45-degree angle. There's one right here in the picture because you bisected the 90. And then the last question is, what two tools are used in a construction? And a construction uses a compass, and a construction uses a straight edge. So don't say ruler, because a ruler has measuring things on it, and you just need a straight edge. You're not using your ruler to measure. Just remember, you don't want any measuring tools. Just a compass and a straight edge are used in constructions.